In recent months, the United States has found itself at the center of intense international discussion, criticism, and strategic pressure, unlike anything seen in recent years. Around the world, governments, analysts, and citizens are watching closely as America faces growing diplomatic challenges, military tensions, economic competition, and political debates that are shaping not only its own future but also the future of global power. What makes this moment particularly important is that many of these pressures are happening at the same time, creating a situation where every decision made in Washington has consequences far beyond American borders. One of the biggest reasons America remains under global focus is because of its role in major international conflicts. In several regions, especially in areas where military alliances are active, the United States continues to support allies through military aid, strategic partnerships, and diplomatic backing. However, this support has also led to criticism from countries that believe Washington is too deeply involved in conflicts that could escalate further. In many international forums, debates have become sharper, with some nations openly questioning whether American leadership still represents global stability or whether it sometimes increases geopolitical tension. At the same time, America's relationship with China continues to define much of global politics. The rivalry is no longer limited to trade disputes. It now includes technology, military positioning, artificial intelligence, semiconductor control, and influence over international supply chains. Both countries are competing for economic dominance, and every move is carefully watched by global markets. Restrictions on advanced technology exports, concerns over manufacturing dependence, and debates about strategic industries have pushed this rivalry into every major economic discussion. For many experts, this is not simply competition, but a long-term power shift that could define the next decade. Military concerns are also increasing in regions where naval activity has become more visible. In strategic sea routes, American naval presence remains strong, but rival powers have also expanded their operations. This has created a tense environment where military exercises, patrols, and diplomatic warnings are becoming common. Even when no direct confrontation happens, the message is clear. Major powers are testing influence and readiness. For many observers, this reflects a world where deterrence is replacing trust, and where every military movement carries political meaning. Inside America itself, political divisions are adding another layer of complexity. Domestic debates about foreign policy, border security, inflation, military spending, and economic priorities have become highly visible. Different political groups disagree strongly on how much America should invest abroad versus solving internal challenges at home. This debate affects international confidence because allies often want to know whether American commitments today will remain stable after future elections. When domestic politics become highly polarized, foreign governments often become cautious because policy direction can change quickly. Economically, the United States remains one of the strongest economies in the world, but it is also facing pressure from inflation concerns, debt discussions, and global market uncertainty. Interest rates, consumer prices, and investment behavior continue to influence not only Americans, but also international markets. Since the dollar remains central to global trade, even small policy changes by American financial institutions can affect currencies, imports, exports, and investment flows in many countries. This means that economic debates in America often become global conversations within hours. Another important issue is America's global image. Around the world, some countries still see the United States as a central force for security, innovation, and opportunity. Others increasingly question whether America applies the same standards equally in all international situations. Social media has amplified these discussions, making global reactions faster and more emotional than before. Statements made by American officials are now instantly debated across continents, and public opinion often forms before official clarifications even arrive. Energy policy has also become part of this larger conversation. The United States has increased its influence in energy markets through production and exports, especially during periods when global supply chains were disrupted. This has strengthened some alliances, but also created competition in pricing and market control. Countries that depend on stable energy imports closely monitor American policy decisions because they can directly affect fuel prices and industrial costs worldwide. Technology is another major battlefield where America is under constant global attention. American companies continue to lead in artificial intelligence, software systems, and advanced digital infrastructure. But governments worldwide are now asking difficult questions about data control, digital sovereignty, and platform influence. As regulation discussions grow, America is not only defending business leadership but also trying to maintain trust in systems largely built by its own private sector. Immigration and border policy remain highly sensitive topics as well. America continues to attract people seeking opportunity, but migration pressure has intensified policy debates. Border management has become a political issue, a humanitarian issue, and an international diplomatic issue at the same time. Neighboring countries and international organizations closely watch how America handles migration because it reflects both domestic priorities and international responsibility. In global alliances such as North Atlantic Treaty Organization, America still plays a dominant role, but allies increasingly expect burden sharing and long-term strategic clarity. Military commitments are expensive, and some partner countries are strengthening their own defense capabilities while also expecting Washington to remain fully engaged. This creates a balance where America is still central but no longer unquestioned in every strategic discussion. Public trust in global leadership is changing everywhere, not only in America. Citizens across many countries are asking whether traditional powers still understand modern global problems such as cyber threats, climate change, economic inequality, and rapid technological disruption. Because of its size and influence, America naturally becomes part of every one of these debates. Climate policy also places America under international observation. Every major environmental summit includes questions about whether the United States will maintain long-term commitments, invest in green transition, and cooperate with emerging economies. Since America is both a major industrial power and a major innovator, expectations remain high. Another reason America appears constantly in world discussions is because global crises often trigger immediate American reaction. Whether it is a financial shock, military escalation, sanctions debate, or diplomatic emergency, many countries still wait to see Washington's first move before deciding their own response. This shows that despite criticism, America remains deeply embedded in global decision-making. At the same time, there is growing evidence that many countries want a more multipolar world where power is distributed more widely. This does not mean America is losing importance, but it means influence is increasingly negotiated rather than assumed. Regional powers are more confident, new economic blocs are emerging, and diplomatic language has become more independent in many capitals. For ordinary people watching all of this, the situation can appear confusing because headlines often simplify highly complex developments. One day the focus is military tension, the next day it is economic rivalry, then suddenly political statements dominate global media. But beneath all these headlines, one reality remains clear. America is going through a period where every internal and external decision is being tested under global pressure. The coming months will likely determine how effectively the United States adapts to this changing environment. Its ability to balance alliances, manage competition, reduce internal political instability, and maintain economic confidence will influence global stability far beyond its own borders. Whether one supports American policy or criticizes it, there is no doubt that what happens in America today affects strategic thinking in nearly every major capital around the world. For now, the world continues to watch carefully because, in a rapidly changing international order, America is still one of the few countries whose actions can immediately shift diplomatic conversations, financial markets, military calculations, and political expectations across continents.